What's up, guys? It is Adam Palmer here, the Freelance King, and I want to show you in this video how to get high-paying gigs by getting your proposals seen by the client, picked by the client, interviewed by the client, and eventually win the job. Okay, I'm going to break down the 10 rules that I've put together that have helped me get over $2 million on the Upwork platform system to date. This is between my personal freelancing profile and my agency. And we've been top agency this year, and I'm one of the highest paid freelancers on this system. I'm not saying that to brag or anything. I'm just saying I've sent a lot of proposals and I know it works. And I want you to make sure if you are spending your connects that you are getting the best return for them. So I've broken this down into 10 rules that I've created that I've been basically trying to stick with since the beginning of this, because as you know, getting the proposals seen is everything. And to convince a client to pick you out of all these other people, what are you gonna do to stand out? So I'm gonna break these down for you in this video. Please, guys, if you like this, shoot me a comment. If there's anything that you guys have any questions for, if there's anything else that you guys want to know, let me know in the comment section. I am here to help you guys be the next freelance kings on this system, because there's not just room for one person here. Anybody can get work on this system. There are tons and tons of clients daily that need help from people all around the world. And so these are the 10 rules to get high-paying work on Upwork. First one, make sure your profile is perfect, okay? The most important part of proposals is to make sure your profile is perfect. So that means making sure that you've done everything that you need to do on that profile before you send your first connect, because you're just wasting your money until you get dialed in with the profile. So what do I mean by that? You have an awesome bio, you have all of the different educational fields, what you've done in the past, your portfolio, you even have a video on there. And guys, I have this guide, I don't know if you can see it, but it's gonna be in a download right below. So if you wanna download this guide, I've made it free. Just check it out and you can follow, if you want to pause the video and you can follow along with me, more power to you. But I'm just going down my list and you can grab it. So there's a link in the guide that will send you to our other guide about making a perfect profile. And there should also be a video on here. So just make sure you get that dialed in. And we'll break down fully all the different pieces that go into that profile. That's gonna make it shine. That's gonna make you someone that people are gonna gravitate towards you, that by the time you even get on the phone with these clients, they're already sold because you've done everything on your profile. You've showed them exactly what you do. You showed them how you can help them, and the client doesn't really need to talk to you. They're just talking to you because they wanna confirm that you're a real human being and the person that's attached to the profile. That's your goal. So the number one thing that you need to do is make sure your profile is amazing, okay? And there's other, top dog freelancers out there that say, maybe not make a video and just kind of skirt those things. Make a video. It was the number one thing that got me my first couple of gigs, because they saw me, they saw my personality, they saw that I was a real human being, and it was someone that they wanted to connect with. Everything that Upwork allows you to do on that profile, take advantage of it, because all of those things are going to help with the algorithm. It's going to help with SEO, and it's going to satiate all of the questions that a client may have before they get on the call with you, so you're not just wasting your time with potential tire kickers and things like that. What was a tire kicker? Someone that just is looking at a car and they're not sure if they want to buy it, so they kick the tires thinking that, let me see if this holds up. It's ridiculous. So you don't want to waste your time with that type of client. You want to have people served up, ready to hire you. So number 2, I don't know why this is missed so much, but it is read what they need. Meaning, look at what the client is literally asking for. Figure out their goals. Do not just generically throw out, hey, like, they're looking for a copywriter and you're talking about WordPress, or they're looking for design and you're talking about wireframes or something like that, like irrelevant stuff that it doesn't look like you read what they need. And what I want you to do is, and I wrote it on here, is go through the entire post. See if you could pull out little key phrases that can stick onto. Some examples, and this is what I included in the guide, for software platforms. These are the best examples of keywords. Like, let's say when I got early on the system, I was all into Infusionsoft. It's this platform that does automations for marketing, okay? Also, another one that I was really into was Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop, and WordPress. These are the type of items that I would put in my search. And again, we have another guide for the daily kind of Upwork flow that you should be doing, and that's kind of saving your jobs and all these things. So that's a separate conversation. Pulling out these key phrases and then talking to the client about these key phrases, like, oh, they need WordPress help. Well, talk about WordPress. Bring it up in the proposal. Actually say it. They need design and Photoshop help. Write that you're a professional Photoshop user or you're proficient at Photoshop. These types of things. So they know they're listening to me. People want to be heard and listened to. If a freelancer is saying something that's completely irrelevant, it's such a turnoff. It's such a turnoff. And you can see some of the other videos where I go through some good and bad proposals from people. The bad ones are always the ones that are generic, that look like they never looked at the job posting in the first place. And they just get the thumbs down and they're gone. That's it. That's where most people do. They're all like, hello, sir, and blah, 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 and it has nothing to do with the thing. Moving on to the next one, which is number 3. Find out their name and company. Please, 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 please. Do not say sir or madam or this and be generic. Don't do that, okay? Look at the reviews from their other freelancers and you'll see a lot of the times the freelancers will use the name of the client, okay? So just pull from that. If it's George, say, George, I know you need help with your Photoshop or your WordPress and these things. So let me help you. I have experience with Photoshop and WordPress and all of these things. So you're reiterating, you're listening. They feel good. When they feel good, they'll click into your profile, going back to 1. So this is why 1, 2, and 3 are so important, guys, because again, we have to make sure your profile is perfect. That's because they're going to be clicking in and seeing it. Read what they need so you can pull out the key phrases and actually break down and mirror what they're asking. And that's so important because that will feel like they're being listened. And then find out their name and their company so you could start to build that rapport and some conversations that allow them to know that you're a human and you can have these types of conversations. Number 4, stay on track. Now that you have them hooked about the things that you can do, you've brought up the platforms that you work together, it correlates with what they need, you're listening to them, but stay on track. Don't start talking about all the other things that you do, okay? They are not interested in any of that, I promise. They will be interested in that stuff after you prove yourself and show that you were worth the money. It will expand into other skills. And this is why it's so important to upskill and not be stagnant on your skill set. Again, I think it's awesome to have all these different talents, and I'm a big proponent of that. But at first, just stick with what they need. They're just thinking about themselves, their money, their budget, when this thing's gonna be done, period. That's all they're concerned about, unless they say so. So stick with that, and if you listen to them, number 3, and if you stay on track, number 4, it's gonna be great because you're gonna be able to nail that first project down quickly, and then they're gonna be like, dude, this is awesome. What else can you do? Show me. It's always happen that way. When I try and serve up too many menu items at first, they need to take a step back. I don't know. Maybe I just need a simple freelancer that can just do this one thing. And I'll come back to you, Adam, because it seems like you do a lot of things and maybe this is below your skill set or something like that. Nothing's below your skill set. All of these little jobs should go into bigger things. I say yes to a lot of different things because I know once they get one thing they want, they're going to want more. So I'm not really fazed by budgets or this and that at first because I know I'm going to stay focused on this task at hand and then we're going to graduate into bigger things. Capiche? Number 5 kind of goes with number 4, but keep it tight, okay? When I'm seeing proposals, I don't need huge paragraphs, right? Like some people just want to write the world and most of it's copy paste. You don't want to do that because again, it kind of breaks up what they need with staying on track and reading what they need because you're just kind of posting everything and it's too much for them to read. The thing is, guys, like when you write that first couple sentences, that's what's going to be seen at the bottom. The main goal is to just get them to click into your profile, which is going to have all the other information in a more organized way, okay? But now the client's in your ecosystem. They're in your house now. They're in your store now. So now they can see all these different items that you have and all these different things. And it's a natural progression. In digital marketing, we're always talking about micro commitments and nurturing and bringing people in. If you start sending paragraphs right at first, it's not going to work. You got to ease into it. You know, it's like, that's what nurturing is. So you hook them in with a couple good sentences. Those are seen. There's going to be a ... on, because you can't fit the whole paragraph. So the client's going to click, it's going to expand, then they're going to be able to go right into your profile where they're going to be able to see everything. This is the steps. Number 6 is do not copy and paste. Guys, do not copy and paste. I don't care if it's a testimonial you're copying and pasting. I don't care. Don't do that. Just try to avoid it. Try to exercise your fingers every time and get into the habit of writing these. And they can be similar, but not the same. Why? A bunch of reasons, guys. First of all, it'll help you practice, okay? And there's never one copy and paste situation where, okay, this works, I'm gonna keep doing this, okay? It doesn't happen because number 2, read what they need. Everybody needs something different, right? So you gotta go into that, read what they need, and then just adapt your typical pitch, couple sentences into what they need using their personal touches. The goal is to get them to click into the profile. You shouldn't need to copy and paste everything. And also, and I don't know if this is true, but I'll just throw it out there for fear, right? Like, just in case. Upwork could very well have keyloggers, right? Like, normally on any kind of analytics software, we can know what is being entered into the system, okay? Like, there's heat maps. This is why sometimes when things happen too quickly on different platforms, all of a sudden there's like a CAPTCHA, are you a real human being type of stuff. Like, that's because things are triggered. If you start hitting Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V, and their keyloggers are picking up on that, I don't know if it could potentially flag you, right? It could potentially put you into a segment of freelancers that's a copy paster. So perhaps that figures into the algorithms of when they're pushing people and suggesting people. So you never know. I do know that Upwork appreciates people reading what clients need and answering them and letting them know and being personable and trying to get on the phone with them to close the contract. I know that Upwork likes that. So if you consistently close contracts, they're 100% going to push you up to the top. But if you're doing this copy and pasting, and I see it all the time, and there's examples of it in my video on this channel, of people clearly copying and pasting, clearly, and they just get the quickest thumbs down. It's so annoying. It's really ridiculous, especially since they're spending their connects on this, guys. So please, get into the habit of typing it out. I still type mine out, And if I'm typing mine out, there's no reason why you guys shouldn't, okay? It shouldn't just be about blasting through as many connects as possible. It should be about articulating what it is that you can do to help them with their exact needs right now. And that's it, period, paragraph, end of story. That's all they need. Does that make sense, guys? Do we copy and paste? Answer, no. Comment below right now if you're still watching this video, and just comment something like, I promise not to copy and paste, or something like that, just so we could start this trend. I just don't want to see copy and pasting anymore. So you're better than that, right? Number 7, this is reflect on a similar situation. Okay, so I mentioned before just writing out a couple sentences. A really powerful part of one of those sentences should be, this sounds like just like when I built X, Y, and Z, okay? You don't need to get into a crazy background story, because again, let the magnetism bring them into your profile that's gonna get them to message you and all that jazz, right? You can do this, like, using the WordPress example. If they needed like a plugin, so I'll be like, I've worked with that particular plugin. Yeah, it was complicated first, but we learned how to do this and integrate it, or something like that. Or maybe it's a logo, and you can bring up, some similar industries where you help them with the logo, and perhaps you could show them that with coding or something a little more technical. You leveraging some of the systems, the languages that you've worked with in the past, Java, PHP, CSS, C++, HTML, all these things. Just start talking about specific cases where you've used those languages to produce something that's made someone happy. That's very simple. It doesn't need a whole thing. If they have questions on it, let them ask you. Think of it as a conversation. Imagine starting out the conversation with the person that you're having dinner with, unloading paragraphs of information without any type of engagement from the other person. It would be a ridiculous thing. The 3 texting rule. Have you ever texted someone that you wanted to date or something? I can tell you things go south when you start texting more than they are. Like, let's say like you're rattling out 3 texts in a row and they haven't replied, and you're like, oh, maybe I should text more, 4 or 5. It makes you look kind of desperate, kind of crazy, kind of like, what's going on here? Does this person like have a life without me? You don't want to be that type of freelancer, guys. You want to make it seem like you got a business going on. You're taking this thing seriously, and you have time to reply, send a quick proposal. And if they're interested in learning more about any of the things that you mentioned in that small, tight paragraph where you're referencing what they asked for and being friendly, they'll ask. They'll say, hey, Adam, tell me more about this specific event. Right? It's very simple, and then just respond to it. Be quick on the responses. This is a chat back and forth. Once they break that 3rd wall or 2nd wall or 4th wall of messaging you back, you guys can keep talking. It doesn't end there. So even if they don't pick you for this project, man, you've made a contact. You can just talk to this person. There's nothing in the terms of service that says like you can't follow up or ask them what's going on, or talk about something else. Yeah, it may not get this job, but my point is, it's a small victory just to get them to reply to you in the first place, because that could be leveraged later. So work on these micro commitments. Number 8, just like I just said, get them to respond. That's your goal. That's your number 1 first step goal. Have a clear call to action that lets them know you're available to chat or talk on the phone. The faster you can get a response, the quicker you are to close your client. Okay, so you're gonna send that paragraph. It's gonna be all typed out. It's gonna be tight. You're gonna get them to click into your profile. They're gonna like what they see. They may message you back, or they may hop on a phone call if that's part of your system. Some people, like for instance, designers may want to get on a phone call, but I know that's challenging if English isn't your first language, or if there is a language barrier and stuff like that. Because design isn't so much conversational based, but having a clear call to action, and for me, it's really getting on the phone with them. That is the step after it. So it goes, my first step is get them to click, expand the paragraph, get them to click into my profile, see that they like me, message me back. I set up a schedule using now the Upwork scheduler because I think it's pretty awesome. It's real quick, it integrates right with my calendar, and then we can line these things up, talk, close, get the contract done. Bingo, bango. That is the step. Get them to respond. Elicit a conversational situation that allows them to be like, hey, Adam, blah, 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 thanks for sending this. This looks really cool. Your profile looks great. Now we can talk. It is so big to get that because unless that happens, you really can't talk with the potential client. Just think of this as a small win, getting them to respond. It's a nice KPI, which is a key performance indicator of what you're doing, before closing the contract. Which, closing the contract, number 9, guys. This is important. You need a system for your clients to utilize your services. That's either going to be through your time, right? So there's time-based contracts or project, more package-based projects. I am not the biggest proponent of more milestone-oriented project-based contracts because in my line of work, scope creep goes crazy, which is, they want one thing on Monday and on Tuesday, it's a completely different thing or something, or they want to change, it changes rapidly. I love the fact that it changes because most of the time it's changing for the better. And we focus on optimization and conversions and all these things. So sometimes new information paramounts anything that you've learned in the past. So you want to be open to changes. You don't want to have this conflict of interest where you're telling the client, oh, we had this scope of work or this proposal, but now you want to change it. So now we have to develop a new statement of work. There's always this headbutting. And I've been on both sides of this, guys. I've hired thousands of freelancers, okay? And I just hire them hourly now because, hey, if they don't stay on point, it's kind of on me, right? But the whole project-based stuff where they're fighting against making it better because they're sticking with the original scope of work, it really is a hindrance. And they're not happy. They're wasting a lot of time. I'm not happy because we're wasting a lot of time and I'm just trying to nickel and dime them to stay inside of a project scope, and then there's milestones. I think that if you're really dialed in or have specific small offerings, I do think possibly having something on the project catalog or some type of finite scope project, it works. But for me, it's really time. The fact of the matter is you need to know what it is that you are offering and you want to be confident with it because the confidence is the biggest part, guys. You need to be able to come into these conversations and say, this is my next step. This is how I take this step. You need to lead them. And I know that's a little difficult at first, but you'll get the hang of it as you systematize yourself a little more and know what you can offer, know your time frames on things, know what you can and can't do. And it's all kind of reinforced by, stuff that's happened in the past, which is the best predictor of the future, right? The things that you've done in the past are the best prediction of the future. That's why the reviews on this system are worth their weight in gold, platinum, Bitcoin, right? They are just so important. But learning to close is super important, obviously. And like I said, the more confident you are in this, the easier it will be to close. And the more reviews you get, the more confidence you'll grow. And it'll start to really build on itself and not take a long time, guys. Literally, I think within the first couple months of the system, I already had 2, 3, 4 reviews, and it got a lot easier to have the confidence in myself, to know the different steps, to know how I was going to close these people. It has always been the same because, what's changed is my hourly rate, guys, not really my process. So I still had I had the same confidence almost because it was a lower amount per hour. I started at about $45 an hour. And I was confident that I could perform $45 worth of value, So I told them, I'm like, this is my hourly rate. I take that back, guys. I was a little shy on the first gig because it was a project-based thing for $50, and then that turned into an hourly gig. And he was like, well, what's your hourly rate? And I was like, well, people in the past have paid me $45 an hour. And he's like, okay, cool. But I was like, is this really happening? And it's so cool because I'm such a proponent of the time-based tracking on Upwork, because the fact that it means that if you're working, you're being paid. And that is paramount to any kind of freelancing situation that I've ever seen. Every other account of freelancing has been basically running after the client for milestone payments. Even if they're awesome clients, they still need to be reminded. Even if they're the best clients. I have an awesome client right now, and I never do this, but I did it, and I'm doing just hour blocks instead of the time tracker. And every time I have to send them a note. Hey man, did you see that thing I sent? It sucks. It's a waste of time. And to just use the hourly time tracker is awesome. So maybe you are developing your system, but I would say curate your system to follow what I'm doing and have it based on your time and keep that increasing, and that's your system. And I won't go into it too much in this video, but guys, I just finished up my book, Upwork Saved My Life. And it took me a couple years to write, just because, I don't know, who has time to write a book? But anyway, it's done. And we really go through in this book how to increase your value and upskill and all these different things. So I'll leave a link to that book also in there as well. But yeah, this is super cool. It's gonna really, I think, be helpful. Put a lot of work into it. Oh, and like I was saying, for a limited time, I don't know when you're watching this movie or this video, but I'm gonna just make it free for a while until, I don't know, enough people see it. I don't know. I think it's gonna be helpful. It's like my anthem. So check it out. If not, it's gonna be, I'll send you like a e-version of it super cheap. But yeah, right now it's free. It's upworksavemylife.com/book. And it's just, you can just grab it. Like I said, I don't know how long we'll keep that page up there, but if it's up, if it's live, grab that thing. I think it's gonna be really helpful. So that was number 9, learn how to close. And I think out of all of these 1 through 9, those are the most important ones. But I will give you number 10, just because, hey, I want to leave an impression, right? And that's what number 10 is. It's leave an impression. I don't normally have to do this, but if I needed to really woo a client, I'm going to tell you this like big secret approach that I absolutely love when freelancers send me stuff like this, because it really, in one fell swoop, does 1 through 9, like all by itself. It's awesome. And like I said, I've seen some freelancers send me stuff like this when they're responding to my jobs. And that is a Loom, which is kind of like a screen recording of your computer. One thing that's great is, even in design or copywriting, or if we're building funnels, like you can take them through something similar that you've done in the past through the Loom. So now you're kind of shooting a video, you're using your voice, it's conversational, you're building rapport, you're showing them that you know what you're doing, and you're bringing in the similar client that you can kind of reference. So, I mean, it really does, it shows that like you've read what they need. It shows that you know their company probably, because you can mention them on there, and it shows that you're very personable, obviously, inherently with a video. You're staying on track because you're not trying to have an hour-long video, but like, it could be semi-conversational. You're keeping it tight. You're obviously not copying and pasting because it's super custom, and you're able to reflect on a similar situation, and you can and then you can get them to respond, because you can put the call to action right in the video very, very easily. Here's the kicker. You can't really use this when you're sending bids, but Upwork has Loom functionality built right inside, and it's really awesome, guys. So if you're not familiar with Loom, or if you feel a little shy when you do these things, just it's like the typing it out. Just get some practice, start talking to me. Feel free to send me a video. I have people actually at Automate Scale that can help with being on camera and things like that. So just shoot me a message. We have all sorts of tools now. There's tools at freelanceking.com/tools. You'll be able to grab this guide. You'll be able to grab our Upwork Flow guide. You'll be able to, what else we have on there? We have profile optimizations. And there's also now a form where if you guys want to have me review your profile quickly, and I can I can do a video on it, just let me know. There's a form on there. Yeah, the book. We'll be adding the book probably to the tools on freelanceking.com. Yeah, guys, I hope you found this helpful. If you do these 10 things, guys, I promise you, you're gonna get response. There's awesome clients on this system. They're not going away. And every day they are posting work, and it's for you to grab and get. So let's do this, guys. Again, if you like this video, please smash the like button. It would mean so much to me. We're trying to build this channel up. I've taken a little hiatus, just been busy with working, and now we're here. We're living in crazy times, and it's the world connecting and working that's, I think, is gonna bring us out of this. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.